I remember a while back when my dad was driving me somewhere on how we started talking about the peach fruit, thanks to me noticing how he had a small bottle of half-empty peach juice left, to which I happily drank due to peach being one of my personal favorite juices. When my dad pointed out how I could even use a small topic like peaches and expand on it as a way to educate and entertain people, I figured why not make this into a video for my viewers. Now, if you watched one of my random things I like to talk about videos, you'll probably remember how I mentioned Princess Peach being one of my favorite Mario characters, despite her somewhat divisive fan base who dislike her for being too much of a damsel in distress. That is, if you didn't watch the Super Mario Bros. Movie, which I highly recommend you watch if interested. Since I like both Peach Juice and Princess Peach, how about I talk about the history of the peach fruit, where they came from, and how much of a cultural impact they have made on society, history, and culture as a whole. So, let us dive into the unique history about peaches, shall we? Peaches, also known as Prunus persica, are usually grown around dry and temperate areas, and like cherries, plums, and almonds, it is part of the Prunus family, which is known for growing beautiful flowers in spring that are often used for decorative purposes, that is, if the fruit that usually grows on them aren't utilized for edible purposes. The persica aspect of its name comes from how peaches were once believed to have come from Persia, now commonly referred to as Iran in the modern day, due to how exotic they were and that they came from the eastern part of the world. Even the Romans, along with other European countries at the time, came to believe that peaches were of Persian origin, as the fruit was found in Western Asia, where Persia would have been. Not just that, the peaches were also cultivated in Greece around 300 BC and were even found within the artistic remains of Pompeii after Mount Vesuvius erupted. However, while the peach may have been originally assumed to have once come from Persia, the truth is actually a lot more complicated than that. In reality, they were native to China back around 1000 BCE, where fossils indicate that they were first grown in the Jiangsu province of China. How they came to be associated with Persian culture is anyone's guess, but given how China did have the Silk Road, which allowed for foreign trading with food, including peaches, and had business relations with Persia, chances are that it mainly spread there before the Greek and Romans took note of this unique fruit and spread it to the rest of Europe, especially with Alexander the Great supposedly discovering it after he managed to conquer Persia himself. In Chinese culture, peaches were said to have been the key to immortality, along with being symbols of longevity, prosperity, and vitality. Japan was especially fond of the fruit and also incorporated the fruit into their culture as well, through food or even art, as they did with many Chinese items and pieces of culture. In Japanese culture, peaches were said to have represented femininity as well as beauty, and were even said to have apparently warded off bad luck. That probably explains why Princess Peach is named after the fruit and is associated with it, considering how feminine she mostly is, especially compared to Daisy, who is considerably more tomboyish. Not that it's a bad thing or anything. Fun fact, did you know in Japanese, the word momo is associated with the word peach along with the color pink due to how peaches are sometimes of a pinkish color, that is, if they're not depicted as being orange, red, or yellow at times. Thus, this would explain why Princess Peach has pink as her main color motif, which is pretty fitting in hindsight. Not just that, I recall watching a video of Gaijin Goomba and how he once talked about the possibility of Princess Peach having elements of a Shinto goddess, or kami as they're usually called, which reminds me of how peaches were associated with immortality in Chinese culture, along with being associated with the heavens at times, thus bringing this particular theory back to China if you think about it. Go watch it if you want to find out more. Another reference to peaches being associated with Chinese culture is best described in Kung Fu Panda, where in the first movie, Oogway famously gives a speech about how Shifu should nourish the peach instead of rejecting or trying to control it in his own harsh way, which definitely alludes to how the peach represents Po in many ways. Given how Oogway ends up ascending to the heavens, and as we see in Kung Fu Panda 3, the spirit realm, he dissolves into a flurry of peach blossom petals, thus symbolizing how he has, in a sense, become a divine being who ascended to the heavens and achieved a spiritual form of immortality despite no longer being physically active. So you see, peaches are quite unique in which they are a humble fruit who have large seeds that look more like stones, but grow into beautiful flowers that are comparable to flowers that blossom from cherries, plums, or even apples. Overall, the peach should not be underestimated as a simple fruit, but rather as an important aspect of human culture that happens to make for a pretty good snack, if not drink. Also, in case you're wondering, yes, I used the song Peaches from the Super Mario Bros. Movie because I thought it would be funny.